So, Disney's remaking Snow White, and the lead actress, Rachel Zegler, is feministing up a big storm all over the world from one red carpet to the next at the ripe old age of 22, telling us all about how the storyline should go and the injustices and the bad politics associated with this storyline that survived just about longer than any others have. She also doesn't seem to understand that the average punter just wants to walk into a movie theatre or more likely relax at home on their couch and put on Netflix and see just a good story. That, whether I like the story or I don't like the story, means that I will or won't be acceptable to a certain side of politics. It doesn't free me up to have the willing suspension of disbelief and truly see beauty for what it is and have a preference and be free to be in touch with my own preferences about what is and isn't beautiful. Not right and wrong, not good and bad, but just aesthetics, beauty. By loading it with politics, I think she's dooming this sort of thing to artistic failure. It may well be a commercial success as one side of politics pours out to try and champion their ideal of right and wrong, but in my mind that doesn't make a thing a good piece of art. It just makes it expedient to a certain side of politics. Now, certain conservative pundits have come out and conceded the point, yeah, okay, it's an old-fashioned movie, so let's do a remake with some more modern principles, but why do we have to inject it with feminism? And I reject even that. I mean, I don't consider myself really conservative or anything, but this movie is still totally relevant. All of the old-fashioned messages from 1937 still play a part today. So let's take a look at the issue. Well, the story to start with, a young, beautiful, innocent girl, young woman, whatever you want to say, becomes the target of ire from an older, less attractive female. And so she has like a murderous man, like a woodsman with an axe, try and murder her, but he takes pity on her and helps her escape the castle. And there in the wilderness, she finds a house and she's able to cohabit the house with working class males who are maybe not what her ideal husband would be. And they're all a bit moody or grumpy or bashful or sleepy or dopey. There's some problems with all of them, but she learns to live with those problems. And in a give and take relationship, she cooks and cleans and does what they can't. And instead of coming home to a dirty house with terrible food, they come home to a clean house with good food, and they love and respect her because of this, and they form a very good relationship, and in the end, they fight to defend her. However, along the way, the jealous old woman finds out that she's still alive and seeks to kill her again. This time, she's going to do it personally, not with a knife or a gun or a bomb or anything like that, but with poison. She's going to put the poison within a consumable item, maybe an apple with arsenic in it, maybe a movie with a horrible feminist storyline, but either way, she's going to give it to girls, and it's going to go inside them, and eventually, it doesn't kill them, but it puts them in something like a coma, like a death-like sleep. And that might be an actual coma, or that might be 30 years in a job you hate, trying to pay off a gender studies degree that you shouldn't have got in the first place and afford a mortgage. You never get to have kids and you never fall in love and you never get married. You decide what this death-like sleep might be like. And in the end, the offending thing is that Prince Charming comes along and kisses her and she wakes up. Now, the Rachel, whatever her name was, has decided that this must mean that women must have men around all the point in time, but a more practiced eye or a more critical eye might understand that the particular malady that affected Snow White, or young women in general here, is this death-like slumber that you need waking up from. It's not the solution to all of your problems, but a little bit of romance in your life may well wake you up. So what's so bad about this? I mean, let's look at the principles. Number one, that your beauty will be a problem. Yeah, it will be. It's unfortunate, but when you're in lane 16's too young for it to start, but it will be 16. At 16, there's going to be a whole bunch of things that you need to deal with. And one of the most difficult is that 30-year-old women might be annoyed about you. Like they might make some stinging jibes or some sarcastic remarks or some cutting observations about you. I mean, that's terrible. There was a journalist in Australia, I'm sure you will remember Steve Irwin, but Steve Irwin had a daughter called Bindi. And when Bindi was 14 or 15 or something, she went on her first red carpet. And the journalist tweeted, "Oh, looks like Bindi Irwin's trying to get laid tonight," because of the way that Bindi dressed. Bindi was 14 years old. Can you imagine being that girl and knowing that the whole nation, perhaps even the whole world, saw a powerful journalist, older woman, call you tantamount to an SLUT? I mean, that's terrible. And that's a vicious form of hurt for the girl. So yes, the idea of the evil witch being jealous of the young woman's beauty, totally relevant. That the woodsman might take mercy on you, yeah. There's other things that come with being 16 years old. Your relationship with men will change, and some of them will be much nicer to you, and doors will open for you that otherwise wouldn't have been opened. At its worst, you'll be let off the Titanic first. I've never taken any hostages in my life, but if I ever do, I'm led to believe the standard practice is to let women and children go first, and that does seem to be what happens. Breast cancer gets more research into it than prostate cancer, and women get a reduced sentence for the same crime that men get. And you can go on, but yeah, there are some mercies out there if you are beautiful. That's unfair, and I think they call that pretty privilege, which is probably true, but that's there, and hell, why shouldn't we read about it? Then that you might find happiness in life through marrying a working class man and having a give and take relationship where this guy comes home from work grumpy or sleepy. Sleepy's a big one, like works hard, maybe a little bashful, that you might have to deal with that character type and find a way to love it and he will love you. That's a really important point. Like I think the stats show that women swipe away 19 out of 20 men on Tinder, and that 20th guy that gets selected tends to be rich, tall, dark, handsome, muscular and stuff. Fuck it. You're not going to meet that guy. There's like barely 5% of men fit into that category, right? You're not going to meet that guy. What you will meet is someone that's rather more like bashful than Prince Charming. But doesn't mean you can't love bashful. Doesn't mean you can't find redeeming features about him and you can't find a way to enter into a relationship with him. I like the idea that they've taken a beautiful Snow White and put her in this house with the 7 dwarves and she's found a way to get along with them. And then that the jealous woman will come at you with poison. Yeah, totally. Like in an out and out fight, everyone would champion the innocent, right? That's what we do as a society. So there can't be an out and out conflict. The conflict has to be veiled and masked and treacherous. Poison, that you put poison into something and then say, here, have this. It's good for you. Classic. Yep, of course. It is happening, right? In universities and in the media and on social media and with feminism. Like there's a lot of things that aren't good. Like you don't need a man. You don't need to have kids. Like a career is more important than a family or so on. And that's poison through and through. And then yes, that once you're trapped in this sort of like single woman working forever, it's Prince Charming who comes along or dashing and wakes you up. Totally, completely relevant. I don't see any need to run away or shy away from this. It's as relevant then as it is now, and it doesn't need recreating. It doesn't mean you can't make a separate movie and try and have another storyline for young women so they can watch 2 movies, but Snow White is still totally relevant. I don't know what the story is with this Rachel Zegler. I don't know if this is how they do it now. You choose, like, you're not actually trying to make a good movie. We're so divided politically that so long as you take one political point of view one way or the other, whether it's not this, The Sound of Freedom, is that what it's called, this new movie? And all the pro-Trumpers are loving it and it's made a ton of money. Maybe this is just the same just the same movie strategy to try and get the other side of politics to rush out and see Snow White like they did with Barbie. And it probably is it. But I don't see why the conservative pundits are saying, oh, well, maybe we need to change the storyline. The storyline's fine. It's useful, it's valid, it's relevant. Now, guys, thanks very much. Hit like and subscribe if you like. If you don't, doesn't matter. It's cool. I make these movies for me. And I'll see you next time. Bye.